Hello everyone, today I would like to try something a bit different, something I haven't done in a while. I'm going to show you the entirety of my État libre d'orange collection. There are not so many fragrances. There's 10 État libre d'orange that I currently have. It's not my favorite house, État libre d'orange. Not by a long shot. However, I still find that the way the market, the fragrance market is, and the way that the trends are, I still think that État libre d'orange is one of the best things you can still buy, because their prices are rather, they're rather stable, they're rather fine. Lately, they've been churning out these new releases a bit too often for my taste, but there's nothing we can do about that. That's the trend. You've got to release a few fragrances by the year now, not just one per year. Their portfolio is so large. There's a lot of variety into their scents that I'm pretty sure that you can find something that you might like from them. So what I have here, there's not a theme running through them, but what I want to tell you is all of them, I think with just one exception, all of them have been blind buys. I don't know which one to begin with. I'll just pick one. This is You or Someone Like You, and I'm going to go through them very, very briefly. This is a minty scent. Herbal, cool inducing, very outdoorsy. It's got that spearmint, almost like a toothpaste feel, without it being too into the toothpaste territory. It's a good mint scent. You know how mint scents are. Whenever I smell this, I'm reminded of Erba Fresca, Aqua Lagoria from Guerlain. I really have to do the same of what I'm doing right now with État libre d'orange. I really have to do it with Aqua Lagoria from Guerlain, because there are not so many. There are not so many Aqua Lagorias, but they're so lovely, and the warm season is upon us, so why not? This is perfect for wearing in the heat. I've done that. It is spectacular because it's got that cool inducing effect. So I think enough about that. Now let's go to one that I've been quite disappointed in. This is Attaquer le soleil, le marquis de Sade. This is Quentin Bish. This was supposed to be that labdanum scent, and I gave this a few wears, and things aren't looking all that great. First of all, I find that the fragrance itself is way more complex than they care to admit. They say that this fragrance contains only labdanum, and that's a lie. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's a lie. There is something mineral about this. My perception hasn't changed. When you light a match and then you immediately put it out in water, there's something mineral, burnt. It's not unpleasant. I've been looking for, this is why I'm attracted to État libre d'orange, because I like quirky scents. I love unusual scents, something that you don't get to smell, everywhere. I wouldn't call this audacious necessarily, but it's not something you can smell, every day. There's not much else going on. There's not much else. And it's a shame, because I think Le Marquis de Sade sort of deserved something better. I'm still going to compare this at one point with the Histoire de Parfum Marquis de Sade, which is, oh God, it's miles ahead. It's miles ahead. It's so beautiful, that one. While this one is rather, it's rather austere. Maybe something leathery in the background. As I said, it's much more complex than they want to admit. Then again, not that much to talk about. Now, speaking of leather, I really, really miss this one. I've been wearing this like crazy. This is Rien, and it really does smell nice. Now, I remember when I first smelled this, there was something like almost bugging me because I couldn't remember what this reminded me of. But now I do. It's Derby from Guerlain. This is, when I'm wearing it, it's like I'm wearing Derby. What that means is, it's a leather chypre, very classic, grassy, a bit pissy, very clean at the same time. What I suspect is a lot of sandalwood, and sandalwood's not cited here as far as I remember, but I suspect there's a lot of sandalwood here because it's got that green, pungent, acidic, then again creamy, almost tropical kind of thing. It's a very beautiful scent. I don't know if I'm going to make a podium for the fragrances I have currently from État Libre d'Orange, but if I were to make one, this would be very, very high, probably second place, because first place is already taken. This is very, very good, and I will definitely, when or if this bottle is ever finished, I will definitely buy a new one because it is perfect. It is just my type of scent. And now I'm quite curious in trying the intense version, you know, the intense incense. Let's go for like this. Like this is the Tilda Swinton scent. I spoke about this quite recently. I don't think it's been a month since my video, but I really find this scent to be quite fascinating. This is a very well-blended scent that nevertheless has a beautiful contrast within himself, and it's not a contrast that you can usually find, and the contrast is chromatic. It's a contrast between blues and oranges, which are, you know, complementary colors. The contrast is quite clashing. Now in this scent, the result of that contrast is something very, very soothing. It's very pleasant to wear, and it's both energizing, revigorating, and powdery and composed and a bit distant and a bit aloof. It's a gorgeous scent. Like this reminds me of this type of scent. And that's a nice segue into getting to Putain de Palace. Putain de Palace has been, I think, my second purchase from this house. I had no idea what this smelled like. I just looked on the notes on Fragrantica and I decided I really want to give this a go. So this is a violet type of smell. Violet, rosy, musky, you know the reference. It's sort of like Insolence meets Attaquer, or what was that called? Guet-apens from Guerlain, or more recently Francesca Bianchi's Angel's Dust. It's that sort of smell. I don't know how to describe it better. It's that candied violet, but with a dirty side, you know? There's something very, very inspiring about this scent. When I say inspiring, I mean sexy, I mean dirty, audacious, sort of like 80s big hair type of scent. It's something I haven't worn in quite some time, but by the dent of this fragrance, this is only a 50 milliliter, but by the dent of this bottle, you can see I quite liked it. There's also a bit of Missia from Chanel in here, but it's not as clean as Missia. This is dirty. This has some secrets. And, you know, it's called Putain de Palace. But there are some similarities between Putain de Palace and Like This. There are. It's sort of the same powderiness, the same muskiness. However, in terms of cleanliness, you know, Like This is pure and untouched. No, Like This is very, very light and fresh, and those spices, those oranges, as I'm calling them, the orange side of the fragrance really helps balance out the blue side of the fragrance, which means it's a lot lighter and it's a lot more easy to like, while Putain de Palace is just, it's given into the blue, right? It's just blue, almost purple type of scent. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Now, let's talk about clean suede, and there's a reason for that. Because clean suede, you know, this is a Tom of Finland remake. Clean suede is also a fragrance that's still in the same vein as Putain de Palace. And I figured this out while wearing it a few times, right? Because just like with many others from État libre d'Orange, you get this annoying feeling that, hey, I know this fragrance. This might be something that I already have, or this is something at least that I previously enjoyed. Now, this is different enough from Putain de Palace. This is a clean, literally, this is a very clean leather scent. So the leather is very, you know, it's delicate. It's the same type of leather you might find in Putain de Palace, because it's a violet / orris created type of leather, which is powdery and musky. And that's it. And just like with this, clean suede is a lot lighter on the musks than Putain de Palace is. So Putain de Palace, when compared to these two, is this almost claustrophobia inducing, never-ending dirty musks. It's like you're being submerged into a feather bed that's been very used. But clean suede is a lot more airy. It's airy and it's easy to like, it's easy to wear. Then again, the dirty musks are there. This is something you can wear in the heat, clean suede, like this as well. Putain de Palace, however, I don't think that would be very forgiving if you wear it in the heat, but who knows, you know. Now let's finally get to Hermann à mes côtés me paraissait une ombre. This is something I was so pleasantly surprised by. Again, all were blind buys. But Hermann à mes côtés was something, as soon as I smelled it, I was like, oh no, this is so... I've never smelled this before, ever. This is a Quentin Bisch, and it shows, if I remember correctly, this is a rose incense type of scent, but it's not though. This is mainly incense. The rose is the shadow, right? The rose is something that it's almost out of your field of vision. I think the main player here is the incense, and the incense is so beautiful. It veers into something, again, because it's Quentin Bisch, it veers into something very mineral. I don't know what that means, but it's alien. It's otherworldly. It's not something from this earth. It's like an apparition. It's the smell I imagine is what you get after a poltergeist has been in the room. If that makes any sense. It's completely imaginary, right? But it's beautiful as, you know, as an inspiration. And this needs to be compared to, where is it? To Attaquer le soleil. Because they're both Quentin Bisch, they're both mineral scents, but just look, yeah, and they're quite similar in that mineral aspect, but just look at the way Hermann à mes côtés is done. This is so unique. This is so... And just look at how disappointed I was in Le Marquis de Sade. I don't know. I suspect that it's just me, or it's never just me, you know, but that's quite a few people have been disappointed in Attaquer le soleil. Quite a lot of people like it. I myself, it's not that I can't stand it. I do wear it, but it's not, it could have been so much more. While Hermann à mes côtés is just so promising. It's that, I remember now, it's that alabaster smell. Something that's green and acidic and mineral and milky at the same time. This Hermann à mes côtés is a work of art, period. I love it. And the fact that the rose is in a supporting role, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let us move on. We only have 3 more to talk about. And from a mineral scent to another, or no, let's talk about Jasmin et cigarette. This is such a beautiful little scent. It's a 50 milliliter. Back then, I only was able to find 50 milliliter scents for some reason for État libre d'orange. Jasmin et cigarette is a beautiful little scent, and I was going to show you how much I loved it. This is fruity jasmine. Apple, maybe, or pear. Something very fresh with a dirty twist to it. Some people say this smells like an ashtray. There's a beautiful, underlying, underneath this all, there's a beautiful indolic jasmine that gives off this strange cigarette smell. But it's very, you really have to squint for it. But it's present. It is definitely there. It's not called Jasmin et cigarette for nothing. And this is what I love about this. When you focus on the cigarette smell, which is not tobacco, by the way, it's the actual smell of a lit cigarette, or the smell of an ashtray. It's there, but it's not pronounced. It's not. You really have to search for it. You really have to concentrate for it. What's beautiful about this scent is the freshness, the fruitiness, the fact that if this had been an Aqua Liguria, it would have been one of the most, interesting Aqua Ligurias I would have ever, smelled. It is simply that great. And the fact that the cigarette smell comes from this indolic jasmine, nevertheless, or despite it all, I think it's just a beautiful jasmine smell. I was actually looking to buy myself a new bottle because mine is, it's half empty, so yeah. And speaking of half empty, and the other mineral scent, this is the Ghost in the Shell. This was also something I was very interested in. I don't remember, was this a blind buy or was it not? I think I might have smelled this one, just like this. I think I might have smelled this one beforehand because I remember having a sample of it. I really liked it. So this is going to be difficult because I haven't smelled this one in a while. What I remember about this one is this being a heavily, maybe ambroxane, laundry detergent, very clean type of scent, but with a twist. And the twist is, it's mineral, milky, and metallic, which, hello sci-fi. It's very beautiful, it's very interesting, This is not the type of scent that when you smell it, you say, oh God, I've never smelled anything like this before. No, because it's quite, it's common. It reminds me at times of L'Heure Blanche by Guerlain, because it's that musky, slightly powdery scent that's very clean, inoffensive. But just like in L'Heure Blanche, there's something more than meets the eye in this. And you really have to search for it. I'm sorry, you really have to. If you don't give this scent the attention that it requires for it to show you how much more the scent is, you're going to be missing out, right? It's much more than meets the eye. It's something that you need to wear. And because if you just smell this in a perfume shop on a blotter, you're going to move past this so quickly, and you're not going to, because you're going to judge it just like all the other musky, maybe white scents, white clean scents, and you're going to move past it. When you're wearing it, this has the most interesting use of ambroxane I've ever smelled, because the ambroxane here is so, I don't know, it's so beautifully put in. It comes and goes. Sometimes it's laundry detergent. Sometimes it's aquatic, it's marine. Sometimes it's salty. Sometimes it's blue. Sometimes it's white. I don't know what to tell you. It is beautiful. As I said, it's the meeting point between something metallic, powdery. It's sci-fi white. It's neon lights, right? You really have to give this a go. I, of course, like it because it sort of reminds me of Sécrétions magnifiques, which is, you know, you knew this was coming. Sécrétions magnifiques is one of the most interesting smells. I think it's the most interesting smells I've ever smelled. And it's definitely the most interesting from État libre d'orange. This is, oh God, this is gorgeous. Gorgeous. This is so difficult to stomach. I've given this fragrance to people, for people to smell, and their reaction was so visceral. This is so hated, and with, you know, with good cause. This is not an easy smell. It's so metallic. It's so vomit-inducing. It's I don't know what this is. I don't know what there is about this smell that is just so yucky, but I love it. I love it. I don't wear it. It would be a lie to tell you I was wearing it. I don't wear it. I can't wear it. I'm too self-conscious. This dent is just from me showing it to people and from me, you know, having a blast with the scent, but I've only wore it, I think, twice. It's not easy to wear. The smell of gutted fish, I think it's most prominent to me. There's also the smell of raw chicken breast, uncooked raw chicken breast, just before you cut it, together with, oh, and also the knife. It's how the knife would smell after, you know, cutting chicken breast or gutting a fish. It is out there. Why do I love it so much? It's a testament to the talent of the perfumer to make this sort of smell out of, you know, normal ingredients, normal fragrance ingredients. They didn't, you know, didn't put a fishy smell in here, as far as I'm aware. I'm looking for the notes for this one because I remember maybe sandalwood, ambroxane, and iris, if I'm not mistaken. Because, yeah, I was right. So the notes, you know, which are not the ingredients, the notes are seaweed milk, coconut, iris, opoponax, and sandalwood. Now, opoponax is indeed an ingredient, sandalwood is an ingredient, and iris is, you know, orris is an ingredient. So the meeting point between iris, opoponax, and sandalwood is just, maybe coconut? Or is that a byproduct? I don't know. But the result is just fantastic. Now this grows on you. Mind you, this definitely grows on you. This, I mean, to me, it's not as disgusting as people make it out to be. It's just an interesting scent by now. When I haven't smelled it in a while, it's got that, it does elicit that reaction, right? It's a bit vomit-inducing. But after a while, you get quite used to it, and there's something so addictive about this. You cannot, it's curiosity, I suppose. You cannot help but get your nose in there and see what this is all about. I really love it when I'm able to focus on the iris. I really love it when I'm able to focus on the milky parts. But the metallic parts are, I think, they're my favorite, you know. I really love metallic scents. And this very strangely reminds me just a bit of Don Delay, which is not a coincidence. That's also a metallic, rather, scent from Serge Lutens. But it's so interesting that, and I will have to do this with Serge Lutens, with Aqua Allegoria from Guerlain, and with Francesca Bianchi as well. I will speak about them in due time. Now, this fragrance, the Sécrétions magnifiques, concludes all of my État libre d'Orange fragrances that I have. Let me think, if I were to give you a bit of a podium, or at least let me give you my favorites for this. So my favorites, in case you haven't noticed, Sécrétions magnifiques is not something I wear, but it's definitely something I find the most interesting fragrance from État libre d'Orange, or maybe ever. You at least need to smell it. I'm not saying you need to like it, but at least you need to smell it. Now, who is next? It's a tie between Hermann côtés and Rien. I can't choose between the two. I think Rien is a bit closer to my style of perfumery, while Hermann côtés is something, more of an experimental, alien, sci-fi sort of scent. But I love them both, and I do wear them both, and they're both great. Now, for the... oh God, this is difficult. This is quite difficult. Clean Suede and The Ghost in the Shell. I don't know, it just came to me. They're not the same, as you might have noticed, but I think they tie for third place. They're fine fragrances. They do suit me quite well. I do wear them. Look at the dent I have on this one. There's nothing to complain about them. They're just, they're good, honest, perfect scents. Now, Jasmin et Cigarette, I think I like a bit more than Putain de Palace, but it really depends on the mood. I mean, sometimes I really like Putain de Palace more, but these are very, very beautiful scents that I really, really love. And from now on, it's not about, places or podiums. It's something, my personal preferences. I think like this is also something that really, really gets my interest. You or someone like you is next to last, for good reason. It's a simple scent, nothing really to write home about, but it's still a beautiful scent. And for the last place, my disappointment, which is Attaquer le soleil, and you know why. Now, this concludes my entire collection so far of État libre d'Orange. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know which house would you like me to do next. And until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.